Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and based on what we can see here on CoinMarketCap, if we sort by change over the last 24 hours, we can see that the market is looking very, very bullish. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I don't want to... No, of course, I'm kidding. That was a joke. Bitcoin, of course, is not doing very well over the last 72 hours or so. In fact, quite the opposite is true. 72 hours ago, Bitcoin was trading at or above $6,300, and we're currently trading at $5,555, about $700 lower than that. And the interim between that has seen one of the most major developments that Bitcoin has witnessed in many months. Bitcoin broke the all-important support level of $6,000. That was indeed by far and away the most important support level in all of Bitcoin technical analysis on the entire Bitcoin chart. This is an extremely important development for the Bitcoin market, and we're going to be discussing that in today's video, because if you guys will remember back to a couple months ago, actually to a couple days ago, I had said that the Bitcoin bear market was over, and based on everything I had to look at with the chart 72 hours ago, it looked like the bear market was over. We saw Bitcoin had stopped this little uptrend, downtrend trend that it was in. We'd seen that all volatility had mostly left the space. We'd seen a lot of volume left the space. We saw Bitcoin setting higher lows. It seemed like we were moving into not a bull market, but instead an accumulation phase. But now that we've gone below $6,000, we have to take new evidence to heed, and we have to use that to readjust our position very quickly so that we can be ready for what the market does next. And based on everything that we see now, Bitcoin most certainly has re-entered that bear market. I do think we were out of it for a little while, but it has certainly restarted. And like I said, we're going to be discussing in this video how much longer that's going to last, based on what's just happened here over the last couple of days. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I lied. Actually, there is one more thing I need to talk about, and that is the fact of the video yesterday. If you guys were watching the premiere of yesterday's video that never actually went up, I promise that wasn't because I was sitting in a closet crying because of Bitcoin crashing. That was actually because of my internet. That video is going to be going up immediately after this one. It's going to go up probably 2-3 hours, however long it takes to upload after this video. So go ahead and watch that video, because that video is a bit outdated, but the market hasn't moved much between now and when I recorded that video. And in that video, I talk a lot about why you shouldn't be leaving the market just because this is happening, why you shouldn't be FOMO, or excuse me, why you shouldn't be FUDing. You're certainly not FOMOing. And I also talk about what I think probably caused this, because if you guys will remember, I've said this for a long time, I always gave it about a 30% chance for Bitcoin to go below $6,000. I never discounted it fully. I never said... Well, I never said seriously that I didn't think we were ever going to go below $6,000 again. I said I didn't think it was what was most likely, but I always gave it about a 30% chance. I always left myself that buffer zone, because there's always a chance that some freak accident like this happened, or perhaps freak manipulation. Go watch that video that I talked about. Happen like this, where we just go and we get in on a day with thin order books, and a couple of whales come in and drop 1,000 Bitcoin on exchange and just crash the market. And that seems to be what happened here, guys. It seems like a couple of whales came in and shorted and just crashed the market. Anyway, like I said, watch that video that's going to go up in a few hours. I will discuss that more there. Now, without much further ado, let's actually go ahead and get right into the video, guys. As you can hear, as you guys can probably hear, I'm still getting over a bit of a cold, so excuse that. So Bitcoin right now is currently trading at around $5,555, and since that other video hasn't gone up before this one in the fashion that it should have, I will go ahead and do a bit of short-term TA here. As we saw a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago in the first part of November, we saw Bitcoin actually moving up here. We saw Bitcoin looking rather bullish here, and this little quote-unquote rally, this uptrend right here, it's not a rally, actually checked all the boxes that I used to determine whether or not a market's moved into a rally. And it only stayed in that rally for a couple of days, and very quickly we rescinded those check marks and Bitcoin went back into a downtrend. One thing you guys have to realize in technical analysis is it's perfectly all right to be wrong. It's perfectly okay to be wrong so long as you learn from what your mistakes were, or if you can't learn anything from it, make sure you're wrong when it wasn't your fault. At least try and learn from your mistakes. That's a general life lesson, but it works especially well in markets since we're dealing with money here. And you also always want to cover yourself with stop losses. Those are two extremely important things in markets. And one of the other important things in a market is to be able to readjust your position on a market very, very quickly. And one thing that we did back here is we saw the market rallying, and right around here, I forget exactly where it was, right around there, Bitcoin had checked all the boxes that I used to determine whether or not the market was in a rally. And a couple days later, we rescinded those checks, like I said, and we went back into a downtrend, and very quickly, we discovered that that actually wasn't a rally, and we very quickly had to reestablish our position on the market. And the same thing has happened here recently. That was a bit of foreshadowing for what's gone on here. I said for a while, and you guys will remember that I said I thought the bear market was over and we were in an accumulation phase. Clearly, I was wrong on that, but the fact is, I didn't think Bitcoin was going to go below $6,000 I didn't think it was most likely, is what I should say. but I always did give it that 30% chance because I thought there was always, I mean, there's always a chance it's going to happen. And now that we've gone below here, this is a very important learning lesson for you guys, or learning lesson. This is a very important experience for me and for you guys to realize that whenever you say something's going to happen in a market and then it doesn't happen, or whenever you say something's most likely to happen in a market and then it doesn't, one, you got to learn from your mistakes. I've learned from mine. And we also have to realize that just because we believe something 72 hours ago doesn't necessarily mean it's still true. Clearly, the bear market's still on, and we're going to go ahead and talk about how much longer that's going to last in this video. But in the last couple of days, Bitcoin had been trending downwards. We thought it was going to bounce here on this uptrend of support. That was a very important uptrend of support for all the TA I'd been doing. This uptrend of support I expected to hold, and surprisingly enough, we didn't actually hold it. I still didn't really see a major technical, and especially not a fundamental reason that we would go below this level, but we did, and sometimes charts don't follow the technicals, sometimes they don't follow the fundamentals, sometimes that happens, sometimes technical analysis does have its limitations. And we did break below there, and we went straight to $6,000. The momentum was too high. We broke $6,000 briefly. A couple whales probably dumped a bunch of Bitcoin and pushed us low enough that the market just started going crazy. People started panic selling, and now we are where we are now. So now you're caught up. Let's go ahead and actually go on to CoinMarketCap and do our little non-satirical review. I hope I didn't upset any of you guys with that little joke at the outset. I know a lot of people are having a very hard time lately, and I do apologize for you guys if you've lost any money. I mean, I understand the market can be very brutal, guys. Just because the market's down, that doesn't mean you need to be upset. That doesn't mean you need to get scared. That doesn't mean you need to FUD. What we need to realize here is that just because Bitcoin is going down, just because the technicals might not look very good right now, maybe might isn't the right word, definitely don't look very good right now, breaking the most important support level in all of Bitcoin technical analysis, just because that's happened doesn't mean the fundamentals have gotten any worse, guys. Always remember that. As Bitcoin goes further south, we're getting further away from where Bitcoin should actually be worth. That underlying intrinsic value has not moved. It has continued moving up. It has not moved down at all. The fundamental value of Bitcoin, the fundamentals for Bitcoin are still very, very bullish, and that is going to drag Bitcoin back up in the next 12 to 24 months. Like I said, we're going to discuss the duration of this bear market later on, but let's go ahead and do the crypto market recap right here. Anyway, Bitcoin is actually up by about 1.65% over the last 24 hours. You would expect a little bit of bullish price action after we went as low on the RSI as we have seen in many years. This is a bit of a tangent, but I do want to show you guys this. I did show it in the other video, but I want to show it here too. Bitcoin's RSI on the daily chart has gone down to about 15, 16, 17, something like that. I can't even find the last time that we went that low. Back over here, I believe it was in like 2014, guys. The daily RSI has not been this low in a very long time. In fact, it doesn't even show up on Coinbase's chart. The fact of the matter is we have not seen RSI on the daily chart for Bitcoin this low in an extraordinarily long time. And what that does indicate is that we'll probably see some kind of minor bounce, and this little 1.65% upwards move is kind of to be expected after something like that happen. Anyway, like I said in the other video that will be going up soon, Bitcoin currently has a volume of around $6.3 billion, albeit probably not the kind of volume that many of us were hoping for, except for you guys who are shorting. I know some people in the Discord server shorted and made a crap ton of money a couple days ago, so good on to you guys. Hopefully you guys who weren't shorting had tight stop losses below $6,000. That's a really good lesson if you guys didn't have stop losses below $6,000. Any lesson is a lesson, even if that lesson cost you a lot of money. Always try and find the silver lining in things, and if you can find a lesson in something, that's even better. And what we can learn from this is that if you guys didn't have stop losses below $6,000, that's a really good place to have stop losses below $6,000 if you guys are trading Bitcoin. If you have a really major level of support like that, great place to have a stop loss right below there. Of course, I'm not criticizing any of you guys who may have made a mistake here. I'm not criticizing you guys in any way, shape, or form. We always have to learn, but this is a good learning experience if you guys didn't have your stop losses set. So make sure you always have those set, no matter how secure you think the market is. Anyway, XRP has actually flipped Ethereum. This is an interesting little news piece that showed up between now and the recording of the last video. XRP actually has about a $600 million lead here on Ethereum. And we've seen XRP jump up here to the number 2 spot a couple of times before and flipping Ethereum, but it hasn't lasted this long. XRP's been up here for quite a while, and XRP is actually holding out pretty well in this little downturn. We're up by about 5% today, and I'm actually quite happy with this because XRP is sitting at a pretty healthy level, guys. XRP was sitting up here above 45 cents and above 7,000 Satoshis respectively And XRP's actually fared pretty well in this. We haven't had a major downtrend in XRP. Many of you XRP fans, you may have someone joining you, because I did actually have a lot of my valuation in XRP for this, because I had a trade going on in XRP, a long-term trade, and I'm kind of happy with it right now because XRP's fared pretty well during this. We do have this strong level of support at 45 cents and 7K Satoshis for XRP. We'll see if that holds on into the future. Anyway, Ethereum is number 3 right now, which is very awkward. For as long as I can remember, Ethereum's been number 2. But anyway, Ethereum's up by about 1.6% in the last 24 hours with a $2.3 billion daily volume. I do want to point out Tether, and then we're going to wrap this up. Tether has a volume of around $4.3 billion. A lot of that is probably from stop losses being triggered below $6,000, and that is one of the reasons Bitcoin moved so quickly, is because all those stop losses down there just got slammed, put a bunch of selling pressure on the market, or oh, well, yeah, they put a bunch of selling pressure on the market and allowed the market to move even further down, and that's exactly what I think caused a lot of this. If we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, we're going to see Basic Attention Token is stealing the spotlight, has all the attention on it right now. It's up by about 14%. That's another coin I have a lot of my valuation in, so I'm very happy to see that Basic Attention Token is doing well. I got lucky in this, guys. A lot of people lost a lot of money, and I do apologize to you guys if you guys lost a lot of money. I'm not apologizing necessarily because it's my fault. I didn't make the trade for you, but I apologize if you guys have lost money. I'm apologizing that... you guys know what I mean. Anyway, we do see 5 cryptocurrencies that are in the double-digit green right now. 0x, Electronium, Nexo, and Wax, as well as Basic Attention Token, are up over 10%. Like I said, we expect to see something like that following a major downtrend to the downside in a market like this. You normally do expect to see some kind of bounce following a day like this. Nasdaq coin is not doing very well, though. I believe that was the coin in the video that I recorded yesterday. Like I said, going up in a few hours. It was up 300% in the last video. That was rather humorous, but we did see that as a little bit of an outlier yesterday, and we do see it here again today. Bitcoin Cash not faring as well as the other top 10 altcoins are. We do see most of the top 10, in fact, all of the top 10, besides Bitcoin Cash, are doing rather well. That's probably a lot of that's probably coming from the fork that's going on. There's a mess going on with the Bitcoin Cash hard fork right now. I'm not going to get into that today, but we did see that that's probably got something to do with that. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, we're already 11 minutes into the video, guys. This is going to be a bit of a longer video. There is a lot to talk about finally because we did see a bit of movement for Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and discuss how much longer this Bitcoin bear market is going to last. Because like I said, guys, I'm the first to admit my mistakes. I said that the Bitcoin bear market was over. I said that. I'm going to restate it. I said the Bitcoin bear market is over. I'm going to say it from the rooftops. I said that. I said that, and I'm going to own it. I said that. And based on all the technicals and based on all the evidence I had up until 72 hours ago, it seemed to me that that was correct. Now, like I said earlier on in the video, as soon as you get new evidence to the contrary, as a good trader, as a good investor, as a good technical analyst, you have to, as quickly as you can, reassert and reestablish your position in the light of new evidence. And we do have new evidence right now. The bear market does seem to be back on. We have seen Bitcoin break innumerable important levels of support. $6,000 is only one of them, guys. We saw Bitcoin break a couple of long-term moving averages out here on the weekly and the monthly chart. If we bring up our moving averages here, we broke the 100 weekly simple moving average. That is not a good moving average to break. We did not want to see that happen. We did see Bitcoin go below $6,000, of course. We saw Bitcoin go below a long-term uptrend of the log scale. Well, actually, we're kind of testing it. It depends on how you draw that. But we did see Bitcoin break a lot of things that would reestablish the fact that we're now back into a bear market. What seems to happen right now, guys, let me go ahead and say what I think is going on right here. Starting from about right back over here, of course, it's easy to call the top when you see it in hindsight, but starting right back over here to right about here, this was bear market. We saw bear market action. Then we saw accumulation phase A, and then from here on until however long, we're going to see more bear market. It did seem like we were seeing a bit of an accumulation phase, but perhaps that was just a setup for Bitcoin going below $6,000. We are now back in a bear market, in my opinion, but I don't want to say that with a ton of certainty because we don't exactly know what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. We don't know if Bitcoin is going to trade sideways. We don't know if Bitcoin's going to go up. We don't know if Bitcoin's going to go down, which is why I'm not really doing any price targets right now, guys, and I'm not going to for a little while. I want the market to develop a little bit more so I really know what's going on before we start making predictions again. That's what we want to do, because you want to actually know what you're talking about before you start talking. But anyway, like I said in the outset of this video, let's discuss how much longer this extends the bear market. Because if you guys remember, I had talked about quite extensively about how I expected a bull market to start by the end of Q1 2019. And that was running under the assumption that we wouldn't break $6,000. Well, we've broken $6,000, so where does that leave my little assumption on when the new bull market will be starting? Well, I think it's needless to say that that extends that prediction a little bit. I still think it's probably going to happen by the end of 2019, although this little movement right here, this little what seems like an insignificant movement here on the daily chart when you zoom out this far, extends the bear market in my opinion, by at least 3 months, perhaps even 6 months. You guys call me a perma bull. I'm only very bullish because the technicals and the fundamentals look very bullish. The fundamentals still look very bullish, but the technicals, not so much. And now that we do actually see that Bitcoin has broken the long-term established level of support of $6,000, analogous to the one we saw in the 2015 bear market, or in the 2015 accumulation phase, let's now go ahead and do some technical analysis on that, because a lot of you guys, including myself, have drawn parallels between these markets where Bitcoin came down to this level right back here, around $300, and we saw a break of it, we saw a major sell-off, and then we traded sideways. If Bitcoin were to follow this trend again, what we would see Bitcoin do is have a major sell-off in the first couple of weeks after breaking this level, and then we would see Bitcoin trade sideways in a new accumulation phase for the next 6 to 9 months or so, which would leave a new bull market starting sometime around the end of 2019, going on into 2020. I still think 2020 is going to be a very bullish year, although I think 2019 is going to be a transition year. 2018 is wrapping up to be mostly a bear market, and 2020 is wrapping up to be a bull market, in my opinion anyway. And 2019 seems to be analogous to 2015 in that we're going to see some kind of accumulation, some kind of floor be set, and it seems like the bear market's going to be ending in 2019. I don't want to be too specific on that, but I will narrow it down to this. I think the bear market is going to end in quarter 1 or quarter 2 of 2019, depending on how you define bear market, because in my opinion, I would define bear market as going up until right about there, which, if we're using this analogy, would be about 2 or 3 weeks from now. But if you define bear market as the midway point between the top of the last bull market and the top of the next bull market, then maybe you define the end of the bear market right there, and you don't use the accumulation phase term that I do, then perhaps you'd say that the bear market's going to end in a couple of months. My point being, this does extend the bearish side of the market, and this does extend the time frame before the next bull market starts, so keep that in mind, guys. But what I want to wrap the video up with here is a little bit of a not really technical analysis. I want to talk about the market from a more emotional standpoint, because I know a lot of you guys have been absolutely just crushed by this market. I know the market's not been easy in 2018, especially if you guys have gotten into the market in 2018, especially if you got into the market in 2017 like I did. I got back into the market over here earlier on in 2017, and I started the market. When I got into the market was very, very bullish. And for the entire duration of this channel, which is 1 year old today, that's kind of a weird thought. The channel is 1 year old today. The market has been very bearish. We've seen the market just not do very well. We've seen the market underperform compared to what it had done in 2016 and 2017. And I realize you guys are, probably longing for that kind of bullish price action, that exuberance that we saw in 2017. And I know a lot of you guys have lost a lot of money. I know this has not been easy on a lot of you guys. And I know if you're still watching this video, you probably had thoughts of leaving the market. Well, let me just go ahead and say, guys, that if you leave the cryptocurrency market to never return, I think in 20 years, you're going to look back on this and you're going to see it as one of the biggest missed opportunities that you have ever experienced in your entire life. I think it's going to be one of the biggest mistakes of your life if you leave the market. I'm not going to tell you to stay in the market. I'm not going to tell you to leave the market. You can do whatever the hell you want. But I do care about you guys, because you guys have given me so much from this channel, and I want to give back to you guys. If you leave the market right now because of this movement, if you leave the market because you think Bitcoin's going to die, 1, you're wrong, and 2, you're going to regret it, and you are going to regret it in a major, major way. The Bitcoin market is going to recover, guys. Blockchain and cryptocurrency technology is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and it's going to revolutionize the world, and every single one of you know that. You realize that, because if you didn't realize that, you would have left a long time ago. You know there's a lot of money to be made here, and you know there's a very bright and long future for this space. Just because the technicals aren't looking that good does not mean the fundamentals are looking bad. Keep that in mind, guys. If you leave this space, and if you leave it to never return, you are going to regret it till the day you die, because you are going to miss out on a fortune. I've said for a long time that the next bull run, and especially the one after that, are going to bring all-time highs, that the likes of which we have never seen before in the cryptocurrency space. We're going to see a colossal bull run come the next time it starts. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long the Bitcoin bear market lasts. It doesn't matter how much longer we have to wait until the next bull market starts. The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of us are still going to be here, if we choose to be, for the duration of the rest of this bear market and on into the beginning of the next bull market. Don't make the mistake of leaving. Don't make the mistake of missing out on these awesome lows to buy into the market. Don't make the mistake of missing out on the biggest opportunity of your life, guys, because you will regret it. And the most terrible thing that you can have when you're old and gray is regret. Would you rather be regretful when you're old and gray, or would you rather have 15 cars? Would you rather be old and gray and be full of regret that you missed out on one of the biggest opportunities of your life, or would you rather be rich? I'm not saying you guys are going to get rich in the market, but at least there's a chance. Anyway, guys, I hope that helped you guys. If you're going to consider leaving the market, I'm not going to tell you not to, but I am going to tell you that I think it's a bad idea. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. Yesterday's video will be out in a few hours. I hope this video helped you guys if you were a little nervous as it relates to the market. And like I said, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always. I'm not going anywhere, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.